go, boys. More salt, don't you? Do you for a while. Here, sheep. Well, I've got several things I need to get done today, and I'm going to start out. I need to move my hay feeders that I've got in the back of the field. I need to get out there and do that while the ground's still solid from being frozen a little bit. Don't want to put any more ruts in the field than I have to. So I need to get out there and do that. I'm moving those feeders. I've explained it in some past videos so that I can kind of move the waste around, the hay and the manure, move it around the field a little bit with my feeders. Then I need to put the hay forks on the tractor, drive over to the neighbor's place, pick up a bale of hay, a round bale, put it out in the field for his cows. He's just got a couple of cows over there. And he's bought some round bales to feed them, but he doesn't have a tractor to do it with, so I run down there and set a bale out once in a while to keep those cows fed. He helps me out a lot with different things, and so that's kind of least I can do to go down there and help him out a little bit. Then I need to get some feed for the ewes, some grain. I'm going to have to try a different place. The place I've been going has closed up, and so we're going to try a different place and kind of see how it works out. I don't know that I'll be able to do any videoing at their place. Some people just don't like that, so I probably won't. I'll just talk about the feed once I get back. But better get started. Well, that didn't go quite as planned, but I was kind of afraid that was going to happen. This runner board that I have on the bottom to help keep this thing from sinking into the ground, I guess it was still frozen to the ground, and it just pulled off. It's still frozen. I guess I'll give it a couple of hours to see if it will thaw out. Maybe I can get that thing pulled out and put back on there. Guess that's just another one of those things that doesn't always go like you planned, but it goes like you fear. Well, I've got the feed that I need. Since this feed is a little bit different than what I have been giving them, I want to start them off pretty slow on this. I'm going to kind of have to ramp them up again a little bit on what they're getting fed. Right now, this feeder is pretty well empty. I know this one side is empty. Let's check the other side. Well, it's almost empty. This side is empty. I'm gonna clean this out and try to reset this so I get a good setting on what I want to feed them. That way I can, with this empty, especially this side of it, I can do a better job of getting things set up on here and get it set the way it needs to be and not have to fight the feed that's already in it. And it's a good idea to clean it out once in a while anyway. Now that this side's empty, I can get any gunk out of it and we'll get this thing set and ready for them for this new feed. Actually, since this side is empty, I don't see any reason I can't just loosen all these adjustments, open it up all the way, then I can give it a really good cleaning. Well, here come the troublemakers. Well, I've got this thing cleaned up pretty good. Let's put it back in there. Now I can see the marks that go on it to adjust it. And let's see how we can do with it now. Nothing in here for you, girl. I took it all out. All right, just let y'all decide there's nothing there, and then maybe we'll get back to it. Everybody's gonna have to take your turn. Come up here and check it out. Decide, hey, there's nothing there. Everybody's, oh, you gotta take your turn yet. You didn't check it out yet? All right, let me back in there. Here, watch out there, girl. Come on, there's nothing in there for you. Hop out of the way. Well, I've got that all cleaned out and set, ready to go. Now I'm gonna do what I should have done to begin with and give them some hay back here in the back of the field so they just stayed out of my way. All right, we got the girls happy. I even got that board up that came off the bottom of that trough earlier this morning. I'm not gonna try to put it back on there right now, but at least I've got it out of there. I know where it's at, and I know there's not any nails or anything sticking up for the ewes to step on. Take care of that problem later. Well, once again, in order to unload this feed, I've got to turn the forks over on my pallet forks so I can get that extra height to get it in the feeder. I might have come up with a solution to that problem, but we'll have to do a little more investigating. This feed is different from what I've been getting in the past. I had to go to a different feed mill to get this feed. The one I've been going to has closed down. They sold out to a racetrack. Now this place, the place I had to go this time, in order for them to mix it through their equipment, they had to add a little bit of molasses to it because they said they couldn't do anything completely dry. The sheep are really gonna like the extra molasses, but what I don't like is sometimes when it's damp, when the feed is damp like this, the soybean meal in particular, the powdery stuff that you see, it gets gummed up in there a little bit and then doesn't want to feed out very well, particularly when you're only feeding a small amount. If you open the feeder up pretty good, it works fine. But I can tell you one thing, this stuff sure does smell good. It smells like candy. And I expect the sheep are going to think the same thing. I don't know if you can really see down in that gap right here. There actually is a little bit of corn down in there, and the way this feeder works, the sheep have to take their tongue and stick it down in there and get that feed. So once their tongue dries out, they can't get any more feed, and they just go off and eat hay or whatever. Then they'll come back and get some more. So the more you open that up, the more feed they can get every time they stick their tongue in there. I've got it cut down quite a bit right now. They're not going to get a lot of this feed. I'd like for them to be having a little more feed at this point in their gestation. But since the other feed mill closed down and I had to change feeds, I'm going to have to introduce it to them a little bit slower. Now also I started out, actually I started it yesterday, but I didn't video, putting the hay back on the back of the field like I was doing earlier in the year. That gets them out here away from the barn where they don't need to be. It keeps some of that mess away from the barn. The other thing that I think is really important about that is it causes the ewes to have to walk. So later on in the gestation where they're at now, if they will walk and get a little bit of exercise, I think it helps the lambs to position themselves the way they need to be for birth. Whereas ewes that just lay around all the time, the lambs don't always get positioned where they should. So I think this little extra walking is going to help them. They can go back there and get their hay. They can come up here and get some grain. They go in here and get water. They can come up here around the barn if they want to, but I think they're really just going to stay back there in the sun a little bit and eat their hay, lay down out there, chew their cud, come and get a little treat at the grain trough once in a while, and come and get them a drink. Really, we should have things set up pretty good now until the ewes start having their lambs. And I think we're going to be probably, well, at least 2 weeks, possibly 3, and we should start seeing some lambs hit the ground. Oh, they figured out something's going on. Well, as always, I appreciate you joining me on the video, and see you on the next one.